This video and every video on this channel is made possible by your support on patreon.com/616entertainment. I couldn't do this without you, and your contributions keep this channel alive. You can also grab an official shirt over on prowrestlingtees.com/616entertainment. Everybody remembers their first experience with a brand new generation of video games, right? Right? Or am I the only one? Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. The first time I saw video games in HD from a brand new console that I didn't even own, my ass was blown in half. You'd think I lit a gigantic cartoon bomb and sat on it. That's how badly my ass was blown in half. The year was 2005. No, it wasn't. It was 2006. I was an extremely happy owner of a PlayStation 2, fortunate enough to have a collection full of some of the best games the console had to offer. God of War, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, Tony Hawk's Underground, please. I was living large. One day, though, my good buddy Bathroom Money Tim Ewers popped on over. He had informed me beforehand that he'd just gotten his very own Xbox 360. Now, at the time, I barely knew anything about the Xbox 360. I knew it existed. I knew Xbox players loved Halo, and that's about it. Long story short, Tim comes over, he says, dude, you have to see this. And he hooked up his brand new console to the TV in the basement. Yes, he just got a new video game system, and the first thing he did was unhook it and bring it over to a friend's house. You gotta love it. Tim owned one game and one game only at this point in time. Fight Night Round 3. I wasn't sure what to expect, but as you already know, yes, my ass was blown in half. Nothing, I repeat, nothing I had ever seen could hold a candle to these graphics. And it wasn't just the graphics, but the game itself. Fight Night Round 3 was so much fun to play, it was out of control. At this point, I knew two things. First, I knew I didn't have an Xbox 360, nor did I want one, as the PlayStation 3 was right around the corner, and that's where my interest lied. But the second thing I knew was this. I needed my own copy of Fight Night Round 3. Luckily, the game was not a next-gen exclusive. The PlayStation 2 version would undoubtedly look nothing like the ports on more powerful hardware, but hey man, sometimes you gotta get in where you fit in. What's up, Dan-Dans? My name is Ian. Today we are going to talk all about Fight Night Round 3 on the PlayStation 2, a full 16 years after the game's release. Now, if you wanted me to focus on the Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 versions, hey, I'm not going to. That's not my story. That's not the version of the game that I owned. I gotta stay true to my experience. What, do you want me to make shit up? I don't think so. I think it's funny that this is not a video that I had on my to-do list for a long time. I haven't been counting down the days until I had enough time to do a scripted look back on Fight Night Round 3 for PS2. I simply found a copy at the game at my local shop, shout out to Closet Collectibles, and I got home and threw it on my shelf. I finished recording an episode of Mortal Kombat Monday, and when I looked at said shelf, Fight Night Round 3 stood out to me. I was drawn to it. I remembered that I still had my original save file for this game on my memory card. May 28th, 2007. Man, where does the time go? It was in that moment that I said, fuck it. I've got memories to relive. I've got stories to tell. And now, I've got a script to write and a video to make. When inspiration strikes, it strikes. It is what it is. Look, I don't chase trends, I don't do YouTube shorts, I don't do reaction videos. I'm the guy who writes an entire script about Fight Night Round 3 for the PlayStation 2 for no other reason than this is just what I feel like doing at the moment. So, thank you very much for being along for this ride. The first thing I wanted to do upon loading up the game was check and see what my career mode stats were, and holy shit. Yes, my character's name was indeed Ian Hardy. I used to do this all the time. I was a massive Jeff Hardy fan as a teenager. Still am today, don't get it twisted. And in wrestling games, I'd always create my own wrestler and name him Ian Hardy. I loved to team up with Jeff and then eventually turn on him, leading to a fantastic familial feud. It writes itself. Apparently, I carried this trend over to boxing games, and would you look at that, Ian Hardy was badass. The current light heavyweight champion of the world with a record of 41-1. And don't lose sight of the fact that all 41 of those wins came by way of knockout. Just seeing these menus again, wow, what a blast from the past. That May 28th, 2007 save date is indeed the last time I'd played this game. So this was hitting hard. Riding a high wave of nostalgia, you know? I took a look through the career trophy case at all of my Boxer's accomplishments, and I noticed that the 2007 Dodge Caliber trophy had a video companion. What is this, you might ask? It's literally a fucking Dodge Caliber commercial. 0 boxing spliced in, 0 Champions Drive calibers. Nothing. Just a car commercial. Amazing. It looks like I walked away from Fight Night Round 3 just as a fight with my greatest rival was offered up. After 15 years away from the ring, could I once again stake my claim to the throne? After all this time, could I still lace up the gloves and defend my world championship?
Pounding haymaker hits his opponent, and he's on the canvas.
Yes. Yes, I could. Man, y'all must have forgot. Now, if you haven't picked up on it yet, this is not an in-depth retrospective in the same style as the history of God of War. This is not like my Justice League Heroes retrospective or the life and death of Turok or anything like that. I'm just coming to you with my personal stories. I'm not here today to dive into the history of Fight Night as a franchise. I'm not here today to tell you how this game performed critically or commercially. We're just taking a stroll down memory lane and reliving this nostalgia together. And part of my story is this. All I ever really did with Fight Night Round 3 was play career mode, honestly. But that was a mistake. I fucked up. The ESPN Classics fights are awesome. Famous feuds like Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, Roy Jones Jr. versus Bernard Hopkins, Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward. The cover stars here on the PlayStation 2 version, whereas Oscar de la Hoya hosted the 360 and PS3 covers. These fights were awesome. The presentation was great. And while we're on the topic of presentation, sure, let's talk about the downgrade I experienced from Tim's Xbox 360 to my PlayStation 2. Graphically, come on, it's not even a conversation. The next-gen version blew my ass in half, as previously reported. Fight Night Round 3 on the PlayStation 2 doesn't look bad at all. I actually think it holds up better than many of you probably expected it to, but yeah, it is what it is. When it comes to sound, dude, these punches sound heavy, and the replays when you score a knockdown sound absolutely murderous. Good lord. I'm hearing skulls shattering, I'm hearing blood squirting, I'm hearing CTE being inflicted in real time. A man's earliest memories escaping the inner windings of his brain, and that's kind of disturbing.
Let's have another look at that knockdown brought to you by Everlast.
The sound design is sick, and I love it. You know what else I love? I love that the camera switches to a first-person mode when a specific type of high-impact punch is landed. This can be discombobulating, sure, but that's kind of the point. You just got cracked, partner. Of course your equilibrium is off. To trigger this first-person view, you have to pull off the gnarliest impact punch there is. The setup for these strikes is crazy. It takes so long to launch one of these deals, but hey, they're lethal. It's high risk, high reward. I actually miss the Cutman minigames and the corner cam that accompanies them between rounds. In today's UFC games, I have no choice but to jump to the UFC as EA hasn't made a boxing game in 10 fucking years. More on that in this video, link in description. There is no cut man. There are no consequences to taking damage. There's certainly no minigames to heal your swelling or your cuts because, well, your wounds are irrelevant. In real life, the referee or even the doctor will step in and call for the bell if one competitor has taken a dangerous amount of damage. But in today's combat sports games, nope, impossible. EA have been making the UFC games since 2014 and never, ever, not once, have they included any sort of referee or doctor stoppage. Flashback 16 years to Fight Night Round 3, and man, we're in control. Put that end swell on there and take the throbbing down. Put that coagulant in that gaping cut and stop the bleeding. It's up to us as the cut man to heal these wounds. And then it's up to us as the fighter to protect the cut man's work. Now I'm off my UFC games soapbox, don't worry. We're not here today to complain about what those games are lacking. Maybe that's another conversation for another time. I don't know. Today, it's all about Fight Night. I would like to include in this video that I also owned Fight Night Round 3 on the PSP, and believe it or not, it was pretty damn good. But back to the PS2 version, I was pretty damn good. We're talking top 5 boxers of all time, period. How about it? It's right there in the stats. I'm not making it up. It is what it is. The facts are the facts. With a record of 60-4, with all 60 of those wins coming by way of knockout, get the hell out of here, dude. I was not to be messed with. I'm so happy I still have this save data. So nostalgic. Now, is Fight Night Round 3 the best boxing game ever made? No, certainly not. I'd bestow that honor onto Fight Night Round 4, hands down. Now, with Round 3 here on the PS2, the roster is not deep. Some weight classes have as little as 5 fighters to their credit, which is downright pathetic. We've also got just 6 different arenas to fight in. But hey, don't forget about that Dodge Caliber commercial. That shit's dope. Or how about the Burger King accompanying your fighter to the ring during career mode? That's gotta count for something, right? Look, at the end of the day, this was a blast. I had a fantastic time not only playing Fight Night Round 3 on the PS2 again, but in writing this script, in editing this video, and in sharing my stories with you guys. What's better than reliving memories and sharing them with others, right? I love Fight Night Round 3. I'll never forget that fateful day, seeing the video games of the next generation in full HD for the very first time. And then going out and getting the lesser version to call my own. That's life sometimes. A wise man once said, "The grass isn't always greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it." And believe me, I watered the shit out of Fight Night Round 3 on the PlayStation 2. Oh, there it is. Thank you for taking this trip down memory lane with me, guys. This was an awesome video to put together. I did it totally on a whim. And despite the fact that I've been telling you my stories for the past however many years here on youtube.com/616entertainment, I still have a million stories you've never heard before, and I'm going to continue telling those stories for a long, long time, so I hope you stick around. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, consider supporting me over on patreon.com/616entertainment. Channels like mine live and die by your support, so if you're already over there, I thank you kindly. If you're thinking about it, hey, give it a shot. For as little as $2 a month, what do you got to lose? You know what I'm saying? I love you guys very much, and I will see you next time.